Hello. Welcome to my mod stream. It is so good of you to join us. Today we will be working on the second Protoss mission of the Hydra campaign, as well as probably the second Zerg mission in the future, because I suspect I will soon receive a care package from one darkened fantasy. Which will include an epic ramp. New G Fuel flavor. Let's get to it, shall we? Destroyed. Maybe if I refresh the page, that will be fixed. The fuck? I feel like something might be broken here, since I do not appear to be able to chat from the dashboard. You. Okay. So it does work, it just doesn't work for me specifically. Okay. As long as we've, figured that one out. All right. So I wanted to get started on figuring out where the Zerg bases are going to go. I'll quickly... I slapped together the second Protoss player's base. As well. He's very close to this position, but that's one of those positions that he might want to leave open for either his human ally, who doesn't have a quick expansion to take, or for Phoenix later on when Phoenix decides to show up. So there's a decent amount of stuff going on there anyway. We'll see how far it goes. Now, I know I want... looks like Dagoth is going to be down here. I think that's fine spacing for him, since otherwise the bottom part of the map is kind of... It's less significant than we would want it to be in theory. So, why don't we draw some water over here? Make a nice little aquatic expansion over here. Just blocking out rough positions for the remaining players. This is going to be an elevated level of cliff. So one of the things that I wanted to try to emphasize here was actually that there's going to be a decent amount of like variety of pathways in most of these positions, and for the Gorn starting location, we are going to include this north-facing area. There's going to be a high dirt ramp here, and probably one here or here. I'm not sure which one I want to go for yet. But that will result in a scalable foundation. Maybe I could make this raised jungle, actually, instead of dirt, if I wanted to do it that way. Make it tie in a bit more with the jungle aesthetic. I might decide to do that, actually. Maybe that makes more sense. Problem is, of course, I'm going to have to do basically follow along here. I don't want the ramp to be too one-sided in that respect, in terms of what it allows for. I can work the southern-facing cliff in a little bit easier anyway, but... Yeah, this is a little bit more freeing anyway, for sure. All right. Oh. Classic move here, trying to deal with all the nonsense, but... Sometimes the nonsense is simply too powerful. We do this. And done that. Okay. Before I get too hung up on the finer details, I'm just going to start with the resource allocation here and then the ramp that I wanted to throw in. Oh, I think the brush is already configured for this, actually. I guess not for this, but that's okay. So I specifically want players to be required to all right, this is silly. Just give me the thing. Will be good. Okay. I want players to have to aggress pretty heavily into his territory from the left in order to get up this ramp and disrupt his mining economy, because that's the side that favors the Protoss in terms of rush distance. If they are able to go all the way around on the right, either through the swamp or around or whatever, to access this smaller ramp, that's when they'll have a little bit of an easier time getting up here relative to the rest. Like, it's easier for the AI to lock this side down, or at least have something over here. So, obviously, air units are also going to be a little bit maybe stronger than you might expect. I think Gorn will just end up putting a production hatch, macro hatch, up here at some point, or using basilisks or something. So that should work out just fine. So I guess we can place him down now. Okay. I know we're going to have a base over here, probably the 3rd for Dagoth. But let's see. I'm going to cut this area in a little bit. Just setting up this stage here. definitely add a lot of jungle stuff over here, I think. I'm not really so sure about Arak's position, but I do want him to be able to support his ally in this regard. All right. Probably end up just sealing that off. I'm not really sure why I did that. Yeah, I think that's even on the to-do list, Kian. Also, welcome to the stream. I guess not. Oh, no, that would be in high priority. Well, I've added it to the list, but I will ask iQuery about it. What's up, Bailiffel? Welcome. We did fraud morning this morning. Yeah. We also were able to do enough, constant testing to, in theory, resolve a. Well, we found 4 cases of desyncs, which are related to the idle unit animations. And we also found and disabled the code responsible for a desync related to shield batteries that I don't think was actually shown. But while we were researching the animation desync, we found the shield battery desync. The shield battery desync is insane. The shield battery desync only occurs when you select a shield battery and somebody else scouts the shield battery that you have selected. I don't know how that is even feasible, because it's not like they have to select the shield battery. They just have to scout that shield battery. So you could be selecting a shield battery and share vision with somebody and it would desync them. I'm pretty sure. We didn't exactly test that, but I'm pretty sure that would happen. Like, I have no idea where that comes from. But yeah, suffice it to say, it's going to be looked into. It's pretty epic. iQuery did, however, add full features to, as far as functionality goes. He's added most of the features required for the Azazel. So that's pretty good for obvious reasons. It's one more unit that we're pretty much taking care of there. And now here I am just walking away at the terrain for this map. Veek is also currently working on adding a new feature to the game. I actually forgot this wasn't already added in, but the Death March passive for infested Terrans. So that'll be nice to have if he is able to be successful in it. We were also talking about relics and champions and stuff recently, and that made me think that I've got a lot more planning to do, man. I got to figure out what the champions actually are. I've actually got to decide if I even want to do champions in a specific way. It kind of defeats the purpose of the relics if the champions themselves end up being like really distinct units on their own. I think instead you would probably just see like a significant increase in base stats for a unit. Like you would load a champion, load a regular unit into the reliquary, and then it would become a champion. If you were able, you could like bestow upon it status of champion, which would be like maybe a fixed cost depending on the unit type. What's up, Alexander? Yeah, they're not going to commonly appear in Melee, but obviously they'll be in some of the campaign maps. And yeah, it'll be pretty cool to see them in action with their new passive once my man is able to do that. This is indeed Protoss 2 as well, I should mention. Hello, my man. How are you? Just when we were expecting you. You were right on time. I guess I don't really have any blends that are what I'm looking for, unfortunately. Oh, okay. You said you were editing it in unit speed? CPP? Well, under normal circumstances, I would say that the reason why that's happening is that the hook is disabled, but I can't imagine that I disabled yeah, unit speed hooks, it's enabled. Get modified unit speed hook right at the beginning here. I'm not sure why there is like a bunch of ifs and then all of a sudden it becomes else if. I don't know if there's a significance to that, programmatically speaking. Well, champions are going to be pretty exceptional, so with the relics anyway. It'll be more about the relics than the champions, but we'll see. But they're not really heroes anymore in any capacity. It's just that you're like, For the Protoss unit, what I think will happen is you'll garrison your reliquary with a unit, say a Zealot. You'll pay a fixed cost depending on what unit type it is. Zealot, Dragoon, High Templar, Dark Templar, Archon, Dark Archon, Reaver, Scout, Exemplar, Corsair, you know, all that shit. You'll pay a fixed cost depending on the unit type. And after that they'll be able to be equipped. They'll be able to equip relics that you have. Right, so in that case, this code should be else if. I don't know if it really matters, but... Well, I guess if it's more than just a unit ID check... I guess if it includes a unit ID check at all, it would have to be like that, but... So where did you write it exactly? All right, I think I understand why the first parts were all ifs, like why all of this stuff was if, because it should be like this is checking for malediction slow, this is checking for reverse thrust status. Reverse thrust can only affect wyverns, so it's fine for this to be an else if in theory. But still, it's like up here for a reason. Then Vorvaling speed increase is up here. But then you have like else if, unit ID. I think it's fine to put all of these as else if. Because these are unit ID specific. So you would have put else if unit ID equals unit ID infested Terran. And then I guess I'll just copy your code. Hasn't changed at all since... looks like I have to include something from that in order for Matthew Tills to show up. Well, I think it's the same thing, but you can try with it being different if you want. I just use that because that's the more up-to-date list. It takes from the more up-to-date list. Yeah, it probably is correct. I know. I didn't want to have to go over here and commit and pull the fucking code, though. That's boring. Everything up to date, by the way. Dummy. Didn't even commit the code. Oh, okay. You also modified the Git stuff. All right. Hold on. In that case, I'll leave this the way it is. And we will... It's in here. So that get ignore should mean that I can open and build the, well, can I build this stuff? Did you get ignore? Oh yeah, debug and release. Okay. So what am I looking at? Unit speed. Why does it say this stuff is checked in? I don't know what that means. I don't know why iQuery puts his comments so close. It's pretty destroying me. So we have yeah, I mean, nothing immediately jumps out at me as being weird about the case here. So this should result in... Okay, yeah, it was patched in here. Well, it's definitely not working, but... I mean, it's running here. It's logging for me. It's just not doing any changes. So maybe changing the class in that sense did fix it. Or changing the unit ID, whatever the fuck this is called. Why does autocomplete not work in this program? I don't know what the fuck this hard code is for scouts. All right, I pushed my modified unit speed file, so you should be able to modify it yourself and push it back when necessary. Brief detour aside. What do you mean by refactoring? Refactoring madness. Just editing the names and stuff? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just figure it will result in less confusion later. Hopefully. Holy jungle. Well, yeah, I didn't immediately conceptualize what I had just done as as refactoring because I didn't change any functional aspects of it. Right, I suppose that's probably the case, yeah. Never thought of it like that. But that makes a lot of sense. Right, so either functionality in the form of performance, or better in the way of performance, or better in the way of readability. Makes sense. I got to get back to doing some Rust code at some point, actually. Some more hooks for the Flingy data extender, the AI Rush hook, and there was a hook that I was really struggling with earlier at some point that I would like to also take another crack at. It's unrelated to both of those, but will be important for something Icro wants to add, I think, in Overlord. All right. All right. Oh, well, real health is actually the same. So each point of health is made up of 255 or 256. So it's actually 256 health for every real point of health. So you might be doing something incorrect. The HP is supposed to be divided by 256 before you do any calculations with it for the sake of actually getting the accurate amount of health. I have no idea why it would be one. One probably because when the unit dies, it's one, and then for a second, and then it dies. I'm not sure. But I mean, if you look at 60 times 256 is exactly 15,360. So it's either one or at full health, basically, is what it looks like. I don't know why it's picking between those two values specifically, but that's my. As soon as you said high value and you were referencing health, I was pretty sure it had something to do with that. So. All right. Well, let me know when it's pushed so I can try it out. And thanks for taking a crack at it. I think I'm gonna refrain from bothering with a ramp down here because what I actually want to do with this is have a nice little piece of the world that's okay, so that's actually correct. I want to have this area be another potential expansion spot for the Zerg team, I think. All right. Hey, Veek, if you were supposed to be sending me that file, you didn't. At least on my end, it still says latest commit is mine. Oh, I see. You need like a less than or equal to or something? At least that would be my instinct, but it's probably more complicated than that. Oh. I didn't know it was an issue with the math function. I thought you would have to hard code the if because you're detecting below, like you're stopping at a certain minimum. But maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're actually doing. I don't want that one. Ah, okay, so you're just troubleshooting that for now. Great, I have the hiccups now. Just about done painting up the area around here, and then I can place the second and third expansion, or base, I guess. The Nat and third for Gorn, and probably some other stuff as well. Gotta plant some more grass, man. I know it might be a little premature to ask this or mention this, but if you're interested in finding anything that's not currently implemented and seems easy enough, or even just something you want to try, you definitely can, you know, smack your way around it and see what you can figure out. Because I'm down to take a look at all of these different changes. You know, I'm interested in seeing them all. Oh, okay, all right. Well, I figured I would mention it, but you know, I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. Is there anything that's implemented now that we've tested out for enough of a while to really have a decent understanding of it that you guys feel is like a step in the wrong direction or just like a misfire in general? Maybe even not necessarily conceptually, but just how it's currently executed. I am curious to see if anybody has like, you know, contrary opinions or counter arguments or anything like that to any of the stuff that I've been working on lately, or even if it's already a deeply rooted change or whatever. I know there's some skepticism about some of the design decisions, or some, and that's usually healthy, but it's pretty unfortunate that I guess Connor won't be coming around anymore. It would be really bad luck if like we had the disagreement that we ended up having, and then he just like he was like going to come back anyway, and he's like, "Oh yeah, everything's fine, whatever. No water, like just water off my back, no problem." And then like something horrible happens to him, and he's you know like the reason why he's never come back to it. I could imagine that happening anyway. That being the case. Well, we had that disagreement like weeks ago now in the Hydra channel about multi-building select, and I haven't heard from him since. Could I make these any smaller? I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but I got pretty upset with him alleging that I was too much of a coward to learn how to play Brood War. But I guess that was just, in retrospect, it doesn't seem like that's what he was. It's not like he was making a big stink and calling me out for it, but he was definitely being a baby and not communicating very well at the time. But I mean, I don't really even give a shit about that now. I already reached out to him in private and tried to like squash the beef, as it were, and I just haven't heard from him since then, so I don't know what's going on there. But hopefully it's everything's okay with him. What the fuck? Dude, what am I even looking at? Well, people tried to de-escalate the situation, but for whatever reason, he was unreachable at the time. It's all right. It happens. I just hope everything's good with him, because it's one thing for him to stop talking, but for this long, seems a little weird. Trying to figure out what's supposed to blend with this. Oh, that was it. Yeah, I think people just miss, like, definitely, they missed the reason why it was. I mean, Connor was not the only person who was suspicious of this, right? And I think it's fine to be, like, cautious, but. Okay. I think we're good here. We can move on to slapping in the rest of the expansions. Why don't we open this up a bit more? He did correctly point out that that not even some of the best multiplayer, like most successful esports competitors for Starcraft have mastered the game in that sense, right? Like that is real, even though it sounds ridiculous to say, because that's how high the skill ceiling is. But if anything, I'm raising the skill ceiling. It's just like, I think a lot of people assume that when you're making UI changes to make the game, well, they assume the motive for the change is to make it easier. But I talked about this during Fraud Night, or Fraud Morning today, actually, but it's not directly related to that. But it's just, like, what I want is for players to always be able to say that, like, if they're looking to dominate their opponents, a realistic option would be to build more production structures, right? Or their decision-making tree could realistically end in building more production structures at pretty much all points in the game, which is why I'm removing the supply and all that other stuff, right? And that's the idea anyway. So in an ideal world, that will be what goes down. But I can't know that for sure. I just know that in my perceived idealized end game scenario where players are playing on massive maps in massive team games, like 8v8 team games, they should be able to manage like double-digit bases or close to it and manage, 20, 30 production structures. You can't do that unless you can, actually play with well, if you can't control more than a few production structures or whatever, then that's where things get tricky, right? That was my observation anyway. Yeah, queuing becomes impossible. It becomes very difficult to maintain bases anyway, just to maintain worker counts and stuff, right? Like, all of our stuff isn't in there yet. The changes to the resource management with quarries, what's the other term? The Iroliths and Penance mean that you're actually going to have much faster resource regeneration once those are implemented. I'm still not sure about the quarry. I think maybe it needs to be its own structure something like that. I like that it's an add-on, but the issue is if it's an add-on to the command center, which makes sense intuitively, you're going to see a lot of problems with that probably, because it's going to crowd out the option of ComSat and Nuke Silo. you're going to have to start seeing people build command centers just for the purpose of adding on those add-ons. Or building a second command center in their expansions for the purpose of putting that down. So I was playing around with the idea that maybe command centers specifically could have more than, like they could have 2 add-ons, right? Or they could have just as many add-ons as you can fit. So the quarry could be placed to the left of the command center, while the other add-on is placed to the right of the command center. But we could also potentially make it so that you build the, like you could build 2 nuke silos or 2 comsats or something. I could see a world where something like that ends up happening. So you're giving up the option of going any further. The problem is I wouldn't really want to make that a command center specific thing. So maybe it's actually just a really late game upgrade at the engineering bay that allows all structures to get a second add-on. If they have the space for it, obviously. So you have to kind of plan your base around that. But you could imagine a world where you do that and suddenly you've got like a barracks and a covert ops on your, or a barracks with a covert ops and a med bay, or covert ops and Cyprian add-on, whatever, you know, in the future, or physics lab and control tower on the starport, something like that. Yeah, it's getting a third one and it might get more. Right now, what I'm classing, I'm thinking, well, no, it'll probably just have 3. I'm thinking there's going to be a special weapons, special ops. Well, the covert ops and the med bay are for specialists and support units. And then there's going to be a generic add-on for like, you know, special weapons or special teams or something, special forces, which will be either Firebat or Cyprian. And so I think you'll be able to get that add-on without an academy. And the Firebat and Cyprian researches are going to go on there. And the academy kind of gets outmoded at that point, where it's really only used for comsat requirement, ghost. Oh, I guess you'll need it to get ghosts. You won't be able to build ghosts without an academy. Covert Ops requires academy. So Covert Ops would require an academy, and the Marine range and stim pack would still be there on that structure as well, so you would still build it for that. But you would no longer have Cyprian research and the Firebat upgrade on there. You would still build it for scanners, for comsat access, for Marine range, for stim pack, but maybe what will end up happening is the academy gets sort of shifted down so that it only requires 150 minerals or builds faster or something, is somehow more accessible for those, like for that situation. Maybe it requires 100 minerals and 50 gas now or something. I'm not sure exactly what I would change. I think maybe it's okay anyway because it is a dedicated tech structure and it does unlock a lot of other stuff. But I'm not sure. I think the issue with the starport, though, is that we don't really have a lot of... there's not like a solid through line. Like the barracks is modulated in a very specific way. Covert Ops for specialist units, which is Ghost and Savant when the Savant is actually implemented. Then you've got Firebat Cyprian for the other add-on that's going to be added. That's not there yet. And then you have Medic Shaman for the Medbay add-on, right? And I'm fine with that. That makes sense. Because, I mean, you're talking about having 7 units on the barracks, right? Which is pretty crazy in terms of numbers of units. But you can only train 3 at a time until you get that add-on upgrade if we were to go forward with that. So I think that's fine. I'm not really like... I don't think that that's a really big issue. But I do think that... Oops. Oh, thanks. Starport has Wraith dropship, Science Vessel, Valkyrie Wyvern battlecruiser. So it's 6. Factory currently only has 3. It will get a 4th, maybe a 5th. The 4th will be the Paladin. The 5th might be a siege tank alternative. That it's not really an alternative, but it would require a different add-on, which would preclude siege tanks automatically. I'm not really sure what it'll end up being. It'll probably end up being a different, like a more conventional tank. But it'll have to justify itself in some other way because it won't be artillery. Siege tanks will still be your dedicated artillery units. But I would imagine that whatever new tank type unit I end up adding would have to synergize pretty well with vultures and be a generally effective anti-ground force. So it would probably end up dealing normal damage. I don't know if this works exactly the way it should. Oh. What? Is that even an address? Oh, it is. Dialogue font size. How the fuck? Well, the problem is it seems like it doesn't move that much faster at this range. Oh, it's crashing when I'm opening up. Oh, I know what's going on. Never mind. Hold on. Oh, good one. Well, I can't debug that because of the logger. So it's crashing because I'm trying to open up the console. Well, it works fine here, but if I select the unit while trying to open up the console, it breaks. That's what's causing the crash. It's a conflict with the debug build. God damn it. They move at the same speed, despite one of them being at 44 and one of them being at 24, so I'm pretty sure it's not working as intended. But I will now check this. Oh, I guess it's not logging anything. So yeah, that's not doing anything. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. I was kind of suspicious because it seemed like they moved at the same rate when they were at like 40 and when they were at 10. So I was kind of weirded out by that, but I guess now we know what's going on there. Yes, but 40 is not half HP. 40 is a quarter. And there was no difference between 40 and 20. So it's not working correctly because 20 is below half. Maybe that clears it up. Okay, thank you. I guess I have to quit the game for the debug log to actually work. I can do a little bit more. Unless the logger is disabled. Did you? Yeah, you commented out the logging. That's why. I don't need this one, though. Yeah. Does this make it more obvious that it's broken? I think maybe what's happening is it's only working for one unit, no matter how many units there are. But it's also always 1.5. So, I don't know. That's clearly not correct, I would assume. Yeah, 53 multiplier 1.5. So, I don't know what's going on there. It was? Excuse me. Okay. Got a rough idea of what I want Dagoth's area to look like. Pretty cool that we'll soon have Death March, though. I completely forgot about that pretty much. So nice to know that we'll have it functioning pretty soon. What's up? My name is Lowell. I let everybody else pick the tracks now, man. I just listen to a bunch of stuff in the background with it not coming through on your guys' end. I got tired of getting a lot of spam email about copyright claims, and I also got tired of shit getting blocked with no pretty much no rhyme or reason as to like whether or not it was popular or, you know, they just find it and block it. It's pretty frustrating. So yeah, I actually have a link in the description for the electronic playlist that I usually have in the background, but obviously it's a little bit less it's not like I'm advertising the playlist anymore. Like I'm not advertising its contents anymore by virtue of not listening to it in a way that you guys can hear. So I really wish SCM Draft was open source so we could actually make it better. God damn. So many features I would want added. It would be a good excuse for me to poke around in C++ as well. Oh, hey, I can probably, speaking of poking around in C++, I can probably add the recall affecting ally units thing. Since I added the Enternitus thing. Okay. I'm not sure if that would actually work. Unit player ID, caster player ID. Let's try this. Oh. All right. Oh, I probably didn't add initialize recall. Come on. You can do it. Of course, it's going to take 8 years. I guess I should actually fix that issue, though, in the jungle test map. So that they're actually my ally on their end as well. Oh, wait, this is for AI spell casting. That's, I needed to go into recall spell.cpp and edit it there. Okay. Target player ID equals caster ID, or target SWU is allied to, we'll say target player ID caster. Make sure there's no other checks for that. Okay. They really should have named these, like the AI specific hooks, a prefix with AI in front of them or something, so I knew that was the case. Pretty silly. But hey, now I can have arbiters, AI allied, AI controlled arbiters recall low HP units. Though I am sure that will trigger some player in the future. Ah. Keep, very barely, very subtly fucking up. Nothing worse. Hell yeah. Check it out. All right. Cloak nearby units, baby. Yeah, I just implemented that. Okay. Let's take a look here. I forget how to cancel the build. Oh, control break. All right, well, this builds, I'm going to use the bathroom, and then I'll test this. And assuming everything works out pretty well, we can move on to going back to a bit more of a dedicated phase of working on the map. But it's coming along pretty nicely, I think. I'll talk a little bit more about how I envision the map flow and stuff once a couple more expansions are placed. But at least we have homes for all of the Zerg players, which is more than we had before at the beginning of the stream. So I'm happy about that. I shall return momentarily. Hi. Just trying to making sure all this stuff is tight. Oh shit. All right, boys, change of plans here. Gonna test this. We're gonna see where this goes. But after that, oh baby, it's time for some epic. What the fuck? A different kind of nice approaches. Assuming this actually works. I'm trying to see target player, caster player. What do I have here? Yeah, okay. I have the same thing here. So it shouldn't cause any weird issues. Yeah, it seems like we're having some sort of infinite loop. Where it's looping through everything infinitely or something. I imagine there's nothing immediately wrong with this code. I refactored it so that the comparisons were all over here. Current status. Yeah. Don't cloak hallucinations. Oh, we can comment that one out. Don't cloak items, nukes, units doing warping. Well, it is going to loop through all of this stuff, but it plays as if is allied to is given the wrong argument or something. If I go to enter Nidus, is allied to unit player ID, Nidus canal player ID. So it's checking the unit that's trying to go into the Nidus and comparing that to the target of the order, which is the Nidus. So the same syntax would in theory apply here, the same rule would apply here, where we have checking the unit that could be cloaked and the cloaker that could be providing cloak. We'll rebuild it with just the original stuff in there, just to see if that has something to do with why it's happening. So this tells me that there's an issue elsewhere. I'm going to copy this into a notepad file, and we're just going to Control Z until this is exactly the same way it was before I started working with it. And build it again, and add it again. And if it's still the same thing, then there's just some weird issue with the hook itself, and I'll have to let iCore know about it. Okay. It's still doing it, so we know it's a problem with the hook. I want to try one more time with this, but whatever. Well, it does work, but I don't know why it was inflooping over here. Maybe because it was trying to cloak a unit that was already cloaked? No? Well, what? So it's fine? And only pre-placed arbiters infinitely loop? Yeah, this is what would have been... Like, this is it, right here. So why the fuck was it having problems? No, that's a shield. That's the bulwark. But I just made it cloak allies. It's just that when I was... I was just now working with... trying to figure out why it was infinitely looping upon map start. If you start a map that has pre-placed arbiters, that happens. I don't know why, though. So maybe if I take the arbiters and I move them away, will it still infinitely loop? No. But watch, if I put them back where they were, it freezes at the beginning of the game. So something is fucked up in that plugin. In that hook. But... I wonder if it's specifically like a specific unit interaction. What I'm going to try to do is pre-place them next to Dark Templar and see if that causes an issue. No, it's not Dark Templar. Okay, next we're going to try Dark Archons. Okay, Dark Archons do it, but I'm thinking maybe it has to be like a unit that doesn't... Hold on. Because I know there's another thing. It's like secondary order cloak current unit. If current unit status cloaking for free. So maybe this needs to be inside the if statement? Like maybe it's... Well, I don't know why the fuck that would be the case. Because it's not... I don't know. That's really weird. I don't think this will fix it. If anything, it'll just break something. But I'll try it. But at least I know it in theory is not going to cause any issues in the default game. That's pretty epic. Spastic. So we know that this line here, moving it out, does fix that, but... All right. So I'll comment out the Infested Terran changes for now since they're not working, and I will pack this up and get it shipping. There is already a relic that cloaks stuff. Drains energy while it's active. I think it's Light of Saylock. It's similar to Arbiter Cloaking in that it doesn't affect the caster. I'm glad you showed up now, DF, because I'm just going to quickly make sure that everything still works correctly, and then I'm opening your care package on stream, dude. DF unboxing stream, guys. Check it out. What's up, Allied Cloaking in the house? That is pretty funny. Allied. Oh, God! It happened again! Infinite loop. Alright, we clearly have to disable this cloaking hook for now. I'm glad I did another test. Holy moly. Well, Allied Recall does work, but cloaking is kind of bugged because this hook has a problem with it that I am not qualified to solve, really. Yeah, it's just me screaming, and that's the function. What? Am I hallucinating? Did I not just control view that? All right, so we won't do allied cloaking. But we will do this. Allied recall. See you, nerd. Wait for it. Griefing. Wait for it. Oh, sorry, I forgot. If I give a issue an order. Hey, you guys are supposed to be on Allied. Fucking assholes. Hold on, I have to grief him live on stream. It's not fair. I don't know what the fuck this does. Maybe I modified that in some way. I know, very embarrassing. See ya, nerd. Fucking destroyed. You know that I will immediately do that to My Name is Lowell. Recall his SCVs into lurkers. That's a test to see if he's still here. All right. I think that was it. That was all I was able to do because... Oh, he is here. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you figured that one out there, DF. Classic. Recall to affect allied units. And yeah, I was trying to do cloak, but it's not there yet. So that's okay. I know, it's pretty frustrating, man. Barely disable death march. There you go. Now you're thinking with portals, as they say in the gay land. Are you guys ready for the care package, boys? Get your eyes peeled. Bam! Check it out. It's beautiful. Extension. T for Tony. Destroyed. What a nice boy DF is. Oh yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted. I guess we'll just cancel that one. I think I'll just use a brush palette for this, so it won't matter that much that it's a mess. RAM. Executed. Glad you had some fun. Thanks again for hanging. I'll see you next time you come on around. The 400% trick makes it look worse, really? Well, I guess it's a good thing I read that message real quick so that I could come in here and correct it. Thanks for letting me know. I guess Vic was able to fix the Death March code as well, so pretty nice. Hopefully he's able to fix the pie tile issue, and then I can actually add this stuff to the tile set. In the meantime, I suppose we will pop back up and quickly add some stuff here. And now we have starting locations for all players. Beautiful. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think this will be the natural, but I'm not 100% sure. This might actually just be a pathway in. I'm going to put the natural in the low ground. You're probably right about that, actually. There's nothing new in either the PyMS or the GPTP on my end. What is? I don't know about that one. Does this mean I'm confused about what this is? Oh, I guess this is just merging it with yours or something. Okay. I'm a complete newbie when it comes to GitHub, so You'll have to explain very basic shit like that to me. Hopefully it's not too annoying. All right. I need to find alley-oop. Could you take a look at the Pi tile bug I reported? Because I can't actually add any files like the epic new ramp that we have. I can't add that. It would seem. Oh, thanks. Sorry to ask again then. I just didn't get a confirmation from you earlier, so I wasn't sure. I think maybe a set of ruins that looks much more broken than this. The thing is, like, ruins should probably will look a little bit more inviting than they currently do if they're going to be buildable. And broken ruins should look much worse. To piggyback off of your idea there. Let me pop open this, and we'll go ahead and build. And add this here. Recall to affect allied units. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have to. That's the one downside of doing it this way is Firegraph is such a piece of shit program that I'm going to have to. Keep doing stuff like that. Check him out. So you know what this means. Oops. Oops. Yeah, I think I still haven't fixed that. Oh, and it doesn't have a proper icon. This reminds me I should add... Correct. Okay, so that's pretty basic stuff in ZXT, ensnaring, brood. Oh, it is listed as 267. And it's 84. Oh, maybe I just don't have the updated version? That could be it, I guess. So, what do you think happened with it, and how do I fix it? Or, I guess, how do you fix it? 355. Oh, wait, this is a DAT thing. Okay, thanks. All right, so that's the icon fix there. Yeah, I can. I've only did that for the global changes, but I can go through it real quick. Yeah, that's one that's definitely not in there. Icor said he needed to. He needed a hook in A's for it, and I wrote the hook, but he hasn't looked at it yet. So it's more complicated than you think, probably. But if you have an idea that you want to explore, feel free. Calder, hi. How you doing? Yeah, go for it if you want to try it, though. I hope you can find something there. I'm just refactoring the button set code here. I already saw Reaver code earlier, so I'm curious as to what this is relevant to. Oh, there's already the exact same code. Well, that's a nice bug fix there. Not really a bug, I guess, but definitely unintended. This is a stupid system, though. I had a random set of Legionnaire code over here that I wanted to pull up. This could definitely be refactored even further at some point, and should be at some point, but for now... It's coming along pretty well. Today on stream, I worked on the starting locations of the Zerg and filled in a lot of the rest of the map. I also placed the starting location for Artanis. Not sure if that'll be his final starting location. It is rather safe, but we'll see. I've got a passageway into what will be Dagoth's natural over here. And this will be a temple upraised area. This will be a temple upraised area. But yeah. Over here will be like 2 bases, probably. Nice safe positions for the Zerg to expand to if they want to. Natural will be over here for Gorn, and a third over here. Arak will be tasked with more or less... I'll probably put like a small base over here that he could use for his Nat. Maybe I'll try to work his Nat in a little closer, because he is a little limited. Maybe like up against this area or something. It does make this base a little bit less valuable because it's like right next to an area, but we'll see. And then obviously maybe I could put a small base over there. But we're definitely a lot closer to a functioning layout than we were before. I actually forget how high the range is for that. Maybe it's 3-weapon range? Ha! I have no idea how to get elapsed ticks. Check game hooks. Maybe there's something in the unit loop or something like that that you can see. There's one that loops. If you control F loop, you should be able to find the code that's there. Timestamping this fucking thing is gonna be a mess. Probably the Shaman one, which is, I think, also in-game hooks. You can look for Shaman in the code. Really? Why? Oh wait, I'm not adding. Yeah. I got the same crash as usual. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't close out all my PyMS files. Hold on. Folders. Doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, we still crash. Well, anyway, let's take a look at what we got here. Oh, I forgot to import that file. Shouldn't be hard to fix. Yeah, I've got to import the upgrades stat file for that one. I think that teleportation thing is correct. So we know that the range of the Hierophant is a little bit larger than 3 pixels. Maybe that's a bad example because the unit is so large. So let me... Oh, you know what we can do is we can spawn Zera tool. Okay. Yeah, that's about 3, I would say. All right. No, so far so good. Label seems to be blank. Label is 1590. .363 is supposed to be the label, apparently. So that would explain that. Let's re-add the config or the upgrades.ext file. Okay. So that's there. Okay. Nice. Okay. Let's ship this and be done with the stream for now, I think. I will definitely be popping the ramps in as soon as possible, as soon as I can actually do so with the program. And then I will get all of the tiles taken care of. I don't know if that'll be tonight. I hope it will be, but we'll see whether or not it functions. I gotta bail for a little while, so I'll be busy for at least the next hour or so, and then I'll come back and see what I can do. And just slap this stuff together. Oh, well, if it works now, I'll just do it. Oh, that's the wrong one. I swear to God, though, if this does not work and I have to sit here... I mean, it's so easy to just try to import something, so really it should be tested by now. All right, cool. Perfect. All right, never mind. I'll just get it implemented now. Thanks for fixing that, Veek. Much appreciated. Would suck for DF to have to wait for me to like show it off on stream. So Hmm. All right. I like that one. Oh, I see what you mean. All right. Oh, wait. I forgot that this height level is incorrect. Right? This is actually supposed to be high. I fucking completely messed that up. Because this tile set is retarded. Oh well, it's not that big of a deal. Just a nuisance. The what? Set 2 mini tiles to high ground on the right south ramp extent. Oh, I just fixed that. I thought you said mega tiles. I looked too fast, I guess. Thanks for keeping a lookout. Yeah. Rest in peace, Mixer. You were good while you lasted. And then you got dumb. Baby, 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 baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, lordy. Check out my Instagram, dude. Just a reminder that this is what we were looking at before. Where's that fucking Junhong wireframe meme template that you had? Just the yeah, Drake posting. Oh shit, check out my stars. End tiles. Oh wait, that's actually fine. Dude, you did a pretty fucking snazzy job. Just saying. Mwah. 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 I know. Hilarious. To an obviously much lesser extent, I feel that way just about this stuff. Like, it looks like I used one where I shouldn't have, or no, it's fine. Okay, whatever. I feel even the same way about like the old Kitbash south-facing ones. Even when they extend okay, it's like still no substitute for having an actual set of tiles. Okay, I definitely did this though. I know I have more somewhere. Here we go. Oh, baby. Right. Forgot about that. You guys are watching in prank quality. Wait, what? I'll zoom in closer so you can see. And I'll just hope it's close enough. Pretty obvious to me. I guess it would be over here. Looks a little off, but that's okay. Definitely moi. No two ways about it, man. Infinite moi. How did it feel to start working on the extensions after it was all done? Was it a little like, what the fuck? I actually am done? This map is pretty far from testing. I could slap something together, but the layout is actually not final. I'm just slapping this in for now because I want it to be functional for now. Get rid of all those stupid north-facing ramps. I mean, obviously, I still have the low platform ones. I'll fix those later once those are in, but there we go. I didn't test the height flags, but I can update those later as necessary. Just to open up the exe. Like I said, I'm sort of on a time crunch here, but I really wanted to get that implemented. Nice. Well, thank you very much. Let me just take a look here. I think the biggest issue is probably the fact that the... Okay, so actually the midsection should be modified a little bit here. It's actually a little bit deeper than I thought it would be. This one seems fine. Impassable terrain seems fine. I don't have any immediate issues with the north-facing one. All right, so I jumped the gun on that commit a little bit, but the changes I'm going to make are not going to be massive. I doubt people are going to have a playable tileset map by the... before I do my next commit. So we'll correct that. Bring it in line with the actual ramp. And I'm just going to hunt down the ramp file in particular. If I can. Here we go. All right, that's in. And it's been real. I will catch you all tomorrow for another mod stream. And hope you guys have a great old time. Check me out. Check his ramp out. Make some space maps. Use his ramp. He worked hard on it. See you guys soon. Oh yeah, and thanks, Vic, for all your help too.